Hi, my name is Rich Kettle. I'm an educator here at McClaren-Macomb Hospital, and today we're going to do a quick review of the crash cart, the Zoll M-Series defibrillator, and the contents of the crash cart. So to begin with, you see this big, large black box that we have up here. This is our airway box. This is the first thing you're going to come to. You're going to want to clear this off the cart when you're in any code. You're going to start by breaking off this yellow lock. You flip this box open. You're going to see that we have a host of N95 masks right there in case this is an isolation room. We have some updraft medications in here also. We have some ABG supplies. We have some tape for ET tube holders. We have Yonker suction. We have an assortment of airway adjuncts also in the top. In the lower part, we have a bunch of different types of masks. We also have nasal cannulas, non-rebreathers, and we have an ambu bag also that is packaged in. Everything you'll need for airway will be right in this box on the top. That's the first thing that will come off. We also on the top have an emergency episode sheet. This is for recording your code. You're going to want to hand that off very quickly also when you arrive at the code. These other documents up here, we have a code stroke packet in case the code is for a code stroke packet. We'll throw that off. We have a crash cart daily readiness list. This is where the staff will go through and make sure that everything is plugged in, everything is up to date and current, nothing expired on here. We also have a drug checklist. If you want to see exactly which drugs are in the top up here, you can consult this. It will show you the number of vials and the concentrations that they're all in. We do have a stock list that's also on the top that will tell you everything that's in the drawers or on the sides, so you can find out exactly what is contained in here and how many without actually breaking into the cart and having it to be restocked. Also on the top we have a small sharps container. We have some extra electrodes for doing ECG tracings. We have a bunch of extra paper in case the code runs long and you're going through a lot of paper. We have an oxygen tank, which should be checked daily to make sure it's full. We have our Zoll M-Series, which will be plugged in. That's on the checklist daily also to make sure that it's fully charged and it's able to come off of here. You can take that to the bedside if you need to be closer to the patient or you can't get access. We have a portable suction. This also will be plugged in and charged daily. There'll be tubing right next to it. And then there will be Yonkers inside the airway box if you need to do any suctioning. Moving on down, we have a backboard right on the front of it. That's going to be imperative to get that underneath the patient very quickly so we can get CPR started while we're breaking into the rest of the cart. We have two different locks on here. You can just snap this off by hand. It's a very easy lock to break. This one you can snap off by hand also, or you can just push the door open and that will actually shear the lock off also. Just pushing that back, you can see it sheared that lock right off. This will slide straight back. There's a metal bar here that will catch it, and it will actually hang right there on the back of the cart. That exposes this drug box on the top. You can see that it comes pre-wrapped and sealed from pharmacy. There is also a list on the top that will show you the quantities and the dates that they're going to expire. What do we have in here? We have atropine, we have adenosine, amiodarone, calcium chloride, we have Benadryl, Vasotec, epinephrine, Romazicon, Lasix, glucagon, labetalol, mag sulfate, Lopressor, naloxone, norepi 4 milligrams, and then the rest of our drugs are going to be in the bottom. So anything that's going to be in a pre-mixed state could be up here. We also have a lot of our ampules up here like Epi, our D50. We'll also have those in the third drawer also. Moving on down, I'm going to crack this lock just by pushing down. You can see it sheared that lock off. That unlocks all the rest of these drawers. Pulling open drawer A, this is our airway drawer. You can see we have an assortment of tubes in here, all with Stylex in them. We will also have other airway devices in here. We have extra stylets, combat tourniquets. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 Miller blades. We have Mac 2, 3, and 4. We have some PPE in here also. Got a set of McGill forceps for any upper airway obstructions. And we have an emergency crike set in here also. So think A for airway. Moving down to the second drawer, B, we call this our B, or our blood drawer. This is where you're going to find all of your IV catheters, a host of different sizes. You're going to have your flushes, you're going to have all of your syringes and needles of various sizes. You have ABG kits present here also. We have medication labels for mixing in medications at the bedside. We have alcohol swabs and some saline and sterile water solutions for reconstitution. We also have an extra tourniquet. Moving down to drawer C. This is our other drug drawer. You can see we have those sealed in here. These ones we will have, this is going to be our atropine, amiodarone. There's more vials in here. There won't be any of the premixes in the third drawer. Also, we have an extra guide wire. These are just extension sets for IV. We have IV tubing. So really any lines, whether it's peripheral or central, is going to be coming out of partially the third drawer, mostly the fourth drawer. In the fourth drawer, we have our CVC triple lumen. We have an introducer sheet or percutaneous sheet below that. We have a basin. We have some sets of sterile gloves. We have some sponges, a drape, and a CHG swab. If you look over on the side, there are some other drawers. This is where we're going to have all of our IV bags. We have a couple of 250s up here. And what do we have? That's D5. Down here we have .9s of various sizes. There's 3 of them, including a liter bag. Further down, we've got some more .9. A 500 of LR, and another .9. So plenty of fluids on board. That brings us over to our Zoll M series. We will be getting newer defibrillators, I think, in a month or two, but until we do, this is a very simple device to use. We currently have it connected to a simulator over here, but when you find it on the crash cart, these 2 cables will be just wrapped up around it. One cable will be dead-ended back onto itself. You can see this dead-end connector on here. This is on here so that we can test this daily. We set it for 30 joules, we make it shock itself, and it will print out a little strip that says test passed. When you arrive at a code though, you're going to have to disconnect this, and you'll connect it to a pair of quick combo pads. This does have a proprietary Zoll connector, which will fit on just like that. It will not mate up to like a physio control set of pads, so you have to make sure you have the correct pads and the correct connector. Once we've got the pads on the patient, we can go ahead and start to monitor or deliver therapy. We do have a second set of cables connected to this currently, which is a 3-lead ECG. It's not imperative to put this on every time. However, if you are going to be pacing, because it's going to be delivering energy, it won't be able to deliver energy while it's monitoring. A defibrillation is just a few hundredths of a second, so there's no real interruption in the monitoring part, but when you're pacing, it's pretty consistent on-off of the pacer, and you're not able to see any actual capture there. So you have to use the 3-lead if you're going to be pacing the person. I'm going to connect them to my simulator here. As well as the Zoll connector, which would be mimicking our quick combo pads. All right, and we have 3 boxes on the front of here. You can see this first one says monitor. All of our monitoring functions are going to be within this box. The second box is going to be our defibrillation box. That's where we're delivering therapy. And our third box is our pacing box down here. So if I just turn it 1 click to monitoring, you'll see it comes up. It says monitor right there. You can see that we have the ECG monitoring. This is the magnification, which is ×1, and it's currently monitoring through the pads. I can change the lead here from pads to leads 1, 2, or 3. You'll notice on 3 how small the complex has got. That brings up why we have this second button, which says size. This will increase the size. You might not be able to even see a P wave in front of that, but if I increase the size, you'll see it increase here from X1 to X1.5, X2 to X3. Now you can clearly see the P waves in lead 3. If I were to change it back to pads, you can see that it's huge now, and this is when you're going to want to probably decrease it back down to a reasonable viewing size. We have an alarm suspend button here. You also have an alarm suspend button down in here in these soft keys, which might be a little bit difficult for you guys to see on camera. We also have a recorder button here. When I press that, it will force print. It's continuous. I have to push it again to make it stop. It will automatically print anytime you defibrillate or do a therapy. Also, there's a summary button where at the very end you can just hit the summary button and it will print everything from the very beginning when it was turned on to every time therapy was delivered, and it will provide a complete summary of the patient's code. Moving on from the monitor, I'm going to switch it over here to defib. You can see that it says defib now. It's automatically going to default to 120 joules. This is not a shockable rhythm, but this will function as an AED. Using it, you use step 1, you just turn it to defib. We've already done that. For step 2, you can see it says charge or analyze. If I was using this as an AED, I simply would press analyze. This would be for any non-ACLS providers.
Stand clear.
You can see it's automatically printing. It will look at this rhythm, analyze it, and determine that it is not a shockable rhythm.
No shock advised.
Now, if I give it a shockable rhythm,
Perform CPR.
I could press it again to have it analyze again. It probably would find this as a shockable rhythm. You can see it charged up to 120.
Press shock.
I would look around and make sure that I'm looking at my team. You don't need to look at this button to press it. You need to look at your team and make sure nobody reaches in to touch the bed. Shocking, clear, clear, clear. Press and hold.
No pulse. Perform CPR.
Now I switched it back to monitor to clear the AED function. I'm going to stop the recording also.
Check patient.
We're going to clear the AED function so we won't have to listen to that. Oh.